We're here in Norway. Well, I'm here in Norway, and it's.
Oh, you're in Norway, right? You're
Yeah,
having, yeah.
yeah.
You should have a night already.
Actually, yeah, soon. It's 3 o'clock here, so about maybe 2 hours, and it'll be dark.
Same stuff over here. Unfortunately, stop laughing, Diego. I mean, it's not funny.
Well, you know, we have night already. Here it's already night. We don't have sun too at the moment. So
okay, let me move that huge screen so I can see myself.
Perfect. So
okay, people are I guess it's Saturday, so everybody went to a party.
I know, right?
Looks like.
People in Norway and in Poland, they have nothing to do, you know, just like you in Thailand. So Pawel has joined us in. No, Pawel is still.
There we go.
Okay.
We have to unmute Pawel and guitar. We have to unmute. Okay.
Okay.
I guess guitar is coming.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello. Okay. You can hear me, right?
So okay. So then, yeah, thank you very much for being here today. Today we're going to talk about the partnership as we announced, as well about Kandao, as well about Wanda, what we are doing, about the cooperation we're going to do together. And I guess I'm going to give the word to Guitar to start, or should we introduce ourselves first?
Well, you're the boss, so I guess go ahead and dictate us the terms.
Hello, Diego. I finally arrived. Can you hear me?
We hear you. We hear you very well. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we are all together finally.
Right. So then, yeah, let's start. So yeah, to introduce myself, my name is Diego. I'm originally from Switzerland. I'm living in Thailand now for 6 years. I'm doing crypto pretty much 6 years as well. I've joined Wanda approximately 2 years ago. And yeah, now it's going to be the interesting part of Wanda. We just launched the token not even a month ago. And it's a lot happening behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm looking forward to very, very interesting times as well. Yeah. Of course, also with Kandao. So, yeah. What about you, Marek? You're going to continue?
Well, I guess I'm number 2 on the screen. At least I see myself. I was just sitting by Dennis, and I see the international community all over here. I'm Marek Lewandowski. Live in Poland right now. Used to live a long time in the United States of America. I used to specialize in basically marketing, and in the recent 10 years, I was involved in the firewall traversal of audio and video. So it is very possible that some of the part of even this messenger is functioning because of my involvement in it. I used to work strictly with Gibraltar Blockchain Exchange before I sold themselves, and right now I have joined the project of Kandao as the chief audit executive, which basically makes me to be responsible for any mistakes that the rest of the team is doing. And believe me, the team is growing so fast, I'm not able to handle most of the mistakes. So anybody out there in Thailand or anywhere you are, excuse me, I'm trying to correct all the mistakes that we're doing, and the project is not possible to exist without the mistakes at the beginning. I guess we dropped the information to Norway now.
Probably it's muted.
Norway, wow.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Hi, Pawel.
Uh,
Robert would be
hello.
me, I guess, unless there's somebody else from Norway. My name is Dennis. I am the AI specialist. I have a long background in IT and I have a degree in engineering. I do in research in world economy and its interdependencies, and I do specialize in artificial intelligence, and I'm writing my master's right now in artificial intelligence, and we're going to create some really special systems here that will help us get this thing up and running. It'll be fun. And I joined WE approximately since the summer, and hope this is gonna be good. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna do some crazy shit here.
It's true.
It will.
So maybe a few words from me. So I'm Pawel Barylski, and I'm founder of Kandao, our decentralized social network ecosystem. Previously, for a long time already, I'm fan of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. Actually, since 2012, this is when I started. This is when I was starting to mining Bitcoins. However, for the next few years, then I was also a trader. And that was actually my main job, I would say, because analyzing all blockchains which we're starting to build. And since then, I've realized that we are moving so quick to mass adoption, but still there is like a barrier. It's not happening yet, right? We already arrived to hundreds already of millions of users, but still, why not billions, right? And then for a long time I had this passion and idea to build something really big, really global. And like 1 year ago, we've met with Robert, who created in the past Grono, and Grono was a social network, and it started, by the way, like 1 month before Facebook. So it's an amazing story, and Robert probably will say more. And then we realized that we have many common points, and we see together a vision of future, how we could influence blockchain technology and actually to make adoption of blockchain technology, because this is about that, right? Still, users are not using blockchain, like not everyone can create a token itself in a minute, right? It's still complicated, and we wanted to change it. So this is our mission.
Before I ask Robert to introduce himself, I just wanted to say that we have strange genes with Pawel. You know, he really is older than he looks, and I really would like to be younger than I look, and that's the difference.
All right, I'm somewhere in the middle, joining towards. Like Dennis, I used to do some crazy stuff already. I started like 15 years ago. We indeed managed to do social network, one of the first on the continent of Europe. I believe we had over 3 million users, like maybe 4 million in database, but 3 were active. So after that, I had a little break, to be honest. I was living in the forest, in a beautiful surrounding, and just meditating to the moon and the animals around me. I had no neighbors. It was a beautiful experience for me, something different what I experienced before. And after many years of doing exactly nothing, the blockchain came in and cryptocurrencies. So I thought, what about mining some Ethereum? So I have actually been mining since a few years already, having also some mining facility. I don't know how many more time the proof of work in Ethereum will stay, but for now it's a pretty decent business. We decided at the beginning of this year with Pawel that we combine social networking with the beautiful blockchain technologies, and all that together should be working fine for the community. It's a lot of opportunities for the future, which comes with the new technical stuff like blockchain, and all the DeFi and the crypto space in general. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about it today.
Well, basically, what I wanted to say is that if you all guys were living in a forest for 4 years, you would come up with a crazy idea like this probably too. But none of us were brave enough to live in a forest for a few years, and that's why Robert was the only one who invented Kandao's concept, which actually at the beginning, when I was joining in, seemed to me completely out of this planet. Now, somehow, when I got involved in it, I just simply believe in it.
Cool.
It's huge. It's huge. So then, Tar, are you here?
Yeah, hello, you hear me?
Hello.
Hello,
So would you continue then?
Yeah, okay, I guess that's a brief introduction about everyone. As you know, the session will be separated session of the Wanda and Kandao team, one by one each question. So I'm starting with Wanda. The question is, I've heard about Wanda creating new implement AI ATM. Can you tell
I
us
don't think anybody can
your
hear you.
phone quality is not that good.
If Wanda is implementing ATM, and I don't.
Hello? Hello,
Let's try again.
Hello?
Do you hear me?
Okay, maybe now.
Okay, go. Okay. Sorry. Can everyone hear me?
Kind of.
Kind of is good.
Okay, great. So, okay, starting with the ATM, implemented ATM. Can you tell us about what are the advantages of AI Wanda ATM?
We need some artificial intelligence, Dennis, to decode this.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Can we do something about it?
Can we
maybe the gentleman can. Maybe the gentleman can type, and maybe you can, Dennis or Diego, explain what is his position, because
exactly. Let me take over it. Tar did just send me the questions, so that's all fine. Then I can gonna ask them to you. No problem. Tar is our Thai PR manager. He's doing the Thai stuff. He also gonna write the article in Scion blockchain about our partnership, and he was supposed to be the moderator tonight, but yeah, then if the quality of the phone is not working that well, let's change it. So as we said already before in the group, there will be 5 questions to each. 5 questions to Kandao, 5 questions to Wanda, and then we're gonna unmute the chat, and then the people can ask the questions, and we can answer the questions from them again. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna start with the first question to Kandao. Yeah, what is Kandao in general? It's huge, so maybe it would be very interesting to hear a bit more about the project, what it is in general, and what it's all about, the project.
Maybe I will take it. So in general, Kandao is a very special place. We call it the decentralized social network ecosystem because, first of all, it connects people, but in different way. So maybe to have very quick and easy understanding explanation of it, we should compare to social network in Web 2.0 because we are moving to Web 3.0 very, very quick. So in Web 2.0, you can do very few features. For example, social media right now, I consider. You can like, you can share, you can comment, you can meet some new friends, you can create some groups and talk about it, talk about certain topics. But actually, you cannot do like much more, right? And in social media 3.0, which by the way, decentralized, we consider that every single user can create a project. So like in real life, imagine bringing real life to the internet and really build together, create things together. use smart contracts and tokens to liquefy assets and actually real value that those people deliver. So imagine you organize with people, with friends, and with actually anyone from the world to build organization. It could be profit, non-profit, it could be any kind of project, and everyone joined to build, to create, right? And because of smart contracts, for example, people can use tokens which they create to, for example, exchange values, but also, for example, pay for things, right? Imagine the project need right now a lawyer, right? And there might be a lawyer who will accept your tokens because they believe actually in your project. So, and then you pay with your tokens, which you never had, you created in a few minutes, and right now you can use it as your own currency, I would say. Then if you need a place to work, and there is for example, a person who will give you a house or a flat or whatever where you can work, and you can still pay with your tokens and he will accept it because it will be, first of all, leverage for him, because this token can increase in value, increase in price if the project is actually valuable, and for you there are huge savings, right? So actually, first of all, you can work together, and second of all, you can liquefy all values which you create. So imagine, for example, tokenizing intellectual properties, and for example, use DeFi to share profits through smart contract to people who are, holders, and use NFT as a security because you can bake something by NFT, right? And then if you can create NFT to anything, and I mean really anything, because you could tokenize something as simple as a bottle of water, and something as complicated as advanced IT systems, right? So it could be actually everything, and people around should connect to actually build, because first, I call it, first 10 years of social media, or 15 years, in my opinion, was actually waste of time. I mean, not from the point that, Facebook is amazing place, and LinkedIn and this stuff, everyone use it, but on the other hand, how many people considered those places, those social media, as the best time wasters possible, right? If you go in, then when you go out, oh, I lost 2 hours, right? This is not really good stuff. And imagine right now when you join, you actually bring value and receive value, and this is main difference.
Huge.
Okay, I'm back. Do you hear me?
Well, I make it a little joke out of it. Just guys, imagine yourself that Robert landed in those woods out there, and there was nobody out there. So he wanted to chop some wood, and he couldn't hire a wolf, or he couldn't hire any animals because they didn't accept tokens. So he just started to imagine, if I hired a wolf, or if I hired a rabbit and I gave him tokens, that's how it started. Later on, he figured out it would be a good idea to match the work. So if the wolf ate a rabbit, obviously it would be a cooperation. He would have more power to chop the wood, provided that Robert would give him a chance to pay in the tokens, and so on and so on. So the idea was to create actually an ecosystem in which everybody, to the common benefit, obviously the ecosystem should be a decentralized one, and that's what we're planning to do, that everybody would connect and play different roles that they play in life. For instance, the wolf actually played a role of an animal who is killing smaller running away animals. But what if we could give a good, nice food to a wolf? A wolf became our friend. He would play a role of a friend, and that's how it all started. We all believed that in daily life we played different roles. I take a dog outside for a walk. I am a consultant. I'm playing chief auditor. I did some videos once in a while. So I play different role in life, also as a father and as a member of my family. what if we could use the potential of it? Let's assume that somebody, let's assume that I just don't care about really the job I'm doing, and I can do any job. Therefore, I can help one project to walk the dog out of the founder. And in a different project, I can play a role of a consultant or an auditor of the project. Artificial intelligence algorithms that you guys are producing seems very interesting for us, for the reason that they could easily match all the people that I need to create a project by analyzing the data which is in the network, in the society, in the social media that I'm basically doing. If I'm playing 3 or 4 roles, and if you're going to be looking for somebody who will walk your dog out, maybe the algorithm will suggest myself. Then you could simply pay me in tokens of your project, because I'll look at your project, say to you, hey, it looks great. I don't want this $5 for a walk of the dog. Just give me an equivalent in tokens. If it goes up 20, 50 times, maybe I'll become rich. By the way, I can do the audit for you. So have you considered already an auditor? Maybe I should do a project for you. And that's how it all started. I mean, a society, a network in which the people are actually not only playing different roles, but they own the data. The data is not being owned by big companies. This data is analyzed because I have allowed you to analyze this data for me. And therefore, it can be utilized for all common goods. I think Robert will probably add a few more nice things to it, as I just made some jokes out of his
Thanks,
I really like
for
the concept.
Beautiful wolf story. Yeah.
I like the word that he said. It's a daily life. We play different roles, so it's kind of like a time sharing concept, right? So, like you do a job for other people to do another job for you. It's like kind of that concept, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, if you really look at the world, I mean, a lot of us are working and staying and working for the jobs we really don't like. I mean, we collect stamps, we collect coins, not only digital coins but regular coins. We are being a father, and as a father, I could probably have a bunch of advice for other fathers to handle the problems with their daughter, with their son. And I'm not using it, and I'm not getting paid for it. What about if I would? What about if I joined the product, who is a family-oriented product, so I could play a role as a father and explain to some other fathers how to make your son, I don't know, be a moderator for some game without shooting and screaming all the time and killing everybody. I'm not going to mention the name of the games, but that's the bottom idea. Robert?
Yeah, but time sharing is I think is a good approach. So thanks for that. I mean, in the Web 2.0, we had many services decentralized in a bad way because they wasn't interconnected. It was separate role. You have Instagram when you go for pictures, for example. You have Facebook when you go for friends. You have LinkedIn when you go for businesses. It's not interconnected. It's decentralized in a different way. It should be. So in our metaverse/Web 3.0 approach for the future, it's all interconnected through sharing of everything, like sharing economy itself. So time sharing is, in my opinion, a very good approach, and a name for that, what's really happening and going on. So artificial intelligence can help people, communities, businesses to search for, to assist in search for the best, in the best possible way for anything they need, right? So artificial intelligence can bring assistive layer higher than it's actually going on the Web 2.0, right? but at the end, you want to have all people and assets interconnected on a very high level. And I think that the Web 3.0 and the metaverse of the future is like proposing that, offering that, right? Solving the problem of not having something which is interconnecting all the space, right, with many different assets. So yeah, both approaches are okay, I think. Yeah.
In general, if you consider that you can share actually everything, doesn't matter if you consider your time, your skills, your assets, your connections, whatever you could share, however you could join. It could even, from bigger point of view, increase conversion from current low conversion rate of every single website, because if we lead to evolution, I don't even call it revolution, I call it evolution, because we just not switch, but we move in natural way to the just next step of the internet. Actually, it could increase conversion rate of every single website which moved to Web 3.0, because imagine everyone who just go to any website, any platform, they check what it's just there. They see content. If they like it, they may somehow participate. Maybe they join the newsletter, or they just go into the system. Or if it's just random news website, they just click some banners, and this is the way how they monetize it. But hey, if you have 100,000 people, why only 1,000 people react? What with these 99, right? They are going away. Well, why? You can still use them. And if they feel that they could participate somehow, and they have the way to deliver value, because maybe, you know, they are programmers, but in their meantime, they are, I don't know, great music creator, right? As a not job, but sorry, as a passion. And then he can share this passion, because this project needs actually great music, and then he will get paid in tokens. So this is the way how he actually participate. So then conversion rate will increase dramatically, because there will be different ways to participate, and everyone can join in different ways. And this is the point.
Right. Okay. Very clear. Did the Wanda team answer the question about the advantage of the AI integrated ATM already? Did I miss that part?
Not yet. We started with the first question for Kandao.
Okay, so Diego, can you tell me about the advantages of using the AI integrated ATM machine?
Absolutely.
Diego, I guess I partially answered it, and I remind you what I said, and then I'll let you complete your part of it. I just realized that if AI that Wanda is using could be used in our ecosystem, we could verify. The system would help us to simply do things which we do on a daily basis. Let's assume by starting a project. Let's assume when you started the project and you would type, "I'm opening a washer and dryer sales shop somewhere in a corner of a street. Is anybody wants to join?" You would immediately be recognized by an algorithm, artificial intelligence algorithm, that would suggest to you the people who are interested in washers and dryers. Obviously, some of them are interested in programming, so maybe somebody would come and, "Hey, I'm going to build a website for you." And then somebody would say, "Hey, if you have a website, maybe I'll do a SEO for it. Maybe somebody is going to say, "Hey, I actually would like to be a salesman in your company. Would you accept me?" And so on and so on. So the algorithm, instead of us going and chasing for the people, the algorithm would suggest us not only the people, but it would suggest what kind of people we are. Instead of getting a thief, which is going to steal you as an employee, a washer and dryer for his own purposes, this person would already be verified by a blockchain, by not only having its own digital identity, but it would be also liked by a group of people that worked with him or his friends a long time ago, or for a long time. Therefore, we would know that he is an honest person. If he wanted to join us as a salesperson, that he is a very outspoken person, and so on and so on. All the qualities that right now we know from, well, I shouldn't use the names, but from LinkedIn, for instance, we would have done by artificial intelligence and suggested to us instead of us browsing all over the place who is what and if this person is a good person. If I look for somebody in LinkedIn to join me in, well, first of all, I can make myself a page in LinkedIn in the next few hours, and it will look good. And if I ask a couple of other people who are also fake identities, they'll confirm that I'm a great person, and that's the subject, and it's closed. If I was on blockchain, if I was identified by NFT token, if people had verified, if I was verified by digital ID that would verify it's me, I wouldn't be a fake person. I wouldn't be able to open a fake account, and I wouldn't be able to do fake business, fake brands, fake sales, and so on and so on and so on. So this is just one area in which the artificial intelligence can help. And obviously, Diego, you can probably say much more. And Robert, it's a Robert hobby. He's sending us all the links about artificial intelligence all the time. So not that we read it, but he's doing a job anyway.
I would just like to shoot in a little bit on what you were saying. So the artificial intelligence was also very easily can be expanded into giving people suggestions on their product. So based on what you said, so if somebody wants to create a engagement of some sort, be it a cleaning up your driveway or actually programming a whole system. So what AI can look at, it can look on solutions that nobody has ever thought of before. So, or have done previously. And so what the AI can do is that not only can it find people and necessary resources for your engagement, but it can also find, based on previous resources, successful resources already done, you would say, hey, previously people have done similar engagement as you're doing right now. And if you choose the size of it, it will give you suggestions saying, maybe you would need these two people and a programmer and somebody else to fulfill your engagement because somebody else at a previous time did something similar, and then based on their success rate, we can then provide this information to the customer saying that, right, so based on your suggestions, you need 4 people to do this, you need another person to do that, and you need a market expert. And based on that, you need a loan, and maybe you will talk to some of the banks, and it will give these solutions to people based on what already been, because it takes a professional person to sit and realize per engagement what is necessary to do, fulfill for this to be successful. But an AI can just look at all of these interdependencies, millions and millions of small, tiny tasks, and then it builds a project for you and gives you suggestion, guiding you on the way to be successful based on previous successful engagement that are similar to yours.
Dennis, it's a great explanation, and I'll add quickly one thing only. The problem is that some of you probably are thinking right now, well, if it's going to be a blockchain based, what the hell are you talking about? Because a bunch of people will use different blockchains. So if I have a great idea and I'm on a different blockchain and it's similar to my blockchain, what am I supposed to do? So Kandao is actually a platform which basically interconnects, crisscrosses, I guess I would say, crosses the blockchain from one to another. We will be integrating. Then at the beginning with the partnership with Matic, the former Matic company, and Polygon, right? And in the future, we already have an ideas of the algorithm that you're talking about, looking through some other blockchains and reviewing it, and through some connections, they will find us the people, hey, this guy did on this blockchain this, and this is exactly what you need for your own project. And I'm just shutting up because I'm just talking and you guys want to listen to those founders and not the auditors.
Well, I think AI is really, it's a huge thing. It's going to be the future.
You're excited about it.
Right, we use AI as well. We are more, well, in a more traditional way, I would say, because what you guys are online, we want to give something, we want to provide the people with something offline. So our ATMs, this is going to be a very new kind of ATMs on a very new Android. There will be, it will be possible to integrate other APIs. So this as well, together combined with the AI, this will also give us the possibility to offer cash withdrawals in our token with 0% fees. We have to imagine there are costs for refill. We have to refill them. We have to refill cash. We have to pay for the space rentals, for example, in airports. So there are huge costs that coming to us just alone for this. And this, we can pay part of it with the AI, which is in the background, looking not necessarily where should I sell it, it's more what our AI is doing, when should I sell it. So is the market in an uptrend? Is it very bullish at the moment? There are many new orders coming, the price is going up. Why we should to sell it now and not in 7 seconds? Because I mean, every percentage, every 0.1 percentage we can get from our AI is finally profit for us, and that's on the turnover. So it's a huge thing for us. The ATM's gonna be also able to play advertisings, for example, if no one is using them. This has nothing to do now with the AI, but with the ATM itself. So for us, the AI is gonna be a very important part, not only for the ATMs, of course, it's going to be also used for the POS systems, because there is always the fiat crypto gateway. There are always exchanges from us, and we always need to know, or what we're going to know with our AI is then, should we sell now? Should I wait for 10 seconds, or should I sell it immediately because we're going to the wrong side at this time? That's what our AI mainly is programmed for.
So to sum up, the AI is helping users to get the best price as possible, like best rate of exchange as possible, right?
Exactly. With this,
okay,
we can offer this. Without this, it would be very difficult to offer.
Okay.
Best rates with 0%.
And what sort of data do the Wanda ATI machine use? I mean, what kind of data?
So for the data part, it's a little bit of a difficult question. It's a little bit of a difficult question that can be answered specifically. But so what we're looking at is we're different kind of 2 to 3 types of data. We're looking at the fundamental value of the coin or different types of coins. We'll look at the exchange rates. We'll look at the technical values of and which analysis we can sort. And then the final, which is the sentiment analysis. So what we're trying to build is there's a secondary system that gives a sentiment of that exact point in time of the value of a different type of cryptocurrency. And then when you analyze the technical part and the fundamental part together with this sentiment analysis, then the AI will be gathering and will be able to forecast the volatility of the coin on a much precise level. And the way this happens is that you can imagine, everybody's seen now in the days that a lot of the volatility in cryptocurrency comes from big names, big banks. People are saying things. People are saying that he's going to sell. Elon Musk yelling out that he's going to sell 10% of his coins. All of these tiny, this is a whale that is talking. Everybody knows about this, but there's a lot of different small financial websites, forums that everybody's talking about how they're going to sell, how they're going to up. There's 4 or 5, like 20 different types of indicators that are people building themselves on a large scale. And then if we then get together all of these things and analyze all of these small patterns, run it through a secondary AI that gives you a small form of sentiment analysis and gives you a form of sentiment for that exact price minute, that one sale, why did the price go up exactly that time? And all of this data is being accumulated and incorporated, analyzed, and then run through the neural network. And then what it does, based on the progression window you would like to choose, will give you the volatility forecast. It'll go that there is, let's say, a 20% chance that for the next 10 minutes, it'll go this way or lower down. And then you can be basing your choices of buying and selling up on the sales window. So if you think that you will be decide to sell something within 10 minutes, and then the volatility forecaster says, hey, wait a little bit. It looks like in about a day or 2 hours, it might go up a large sum of money. Then obviously you would try to wait. And then all of this data will be pushed in. But what type of data might be easier to answer, not the exact type of data, because all of this data is dynamic. All of this data will be chosen and run through and analyzed while we're building the system. This is a live system. This is nothing that is fundamental. It analyzes what it needs and how and when it needs, and then it runs through the system.
Yeah. Okay, starting to get a picture. Very technical.
Dennis, just to quickly have an idea, get in touch with me after the meeting. We'll talk about how high frequency trading add on to the AI that you're working on, because that's something we could work with. There's some other parties I know that do it. So you could do it in nanoseconds right now instead of doing it in milliseconds. If it's still, if it's helpful, I can help.
Yeah, exactly.
The AI stuff sounds so exciting to me, though. Back to Kandao team. I've read on the website. Can you define and explain more about the terms of Matchify? What does this mean? Hello?
Did you hear the question? It's your horsey. You should talk about the Matchify issue right now. That's please answer. What's the idea of Matchify? What's the idea behind Matchify?
Pawel, you would like to cover it?
Actually, I thought you will do it because your favorite topic. But yeah, in general, actually, we okay. Maybe I say part and you will finish. So in general, Matchify is a place. It's a tool which we have to match people, right? And because all of them has different roles which they spend, which they could take, which they could join to the project, to the business. We need also a system, and there is, by the way, AI necessary in our case to actually help people to match with each other, to match with what they need. But not only people with people, but you can also connect project with project, or project with people, or assets with project, assets with people, actually everything with everything. And in very short words, it is just about that, because previously we just made like a big talk about multi-roles and Kandao in general. And actually we already explained how it works. So Matchify is about connect everything to let this happens.
Okay, so I guess that's the same concept as like the time sharing concept as we talked earlier, right? The Matchify stuff.
Hello. Okay. If I can maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Robert wanted to join in right now.
Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, this is similar to I'm sorry, to time sharing, which basically came to my mind around maybe 3 years ago when I discovered personal tokens. And the first approach to sell people's skills was through personal tokens. Then everybody knows, I mean, most of the people know now that personal tokens are very limited with the utility, and it's not so obvious that you can just make a personal token for everyone and it's going to work. There are a few services on the planet who tried to do that with more or less success. It's still under construction, I would say, but it was the beginning, the genesis of time sharing space. So after that, when I first thought like 3 years ago about connecting people through time sharing. The personal tokens was the language and the currency of time sharing. Then we expanded the concept for the whole Kandao. Do you hear the noise? It's very loudly. Someone could mute the microphone perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, Dennis probably would tell more about using artificial intelligence in the Matchify engine, as the development is ahead of us. But mostly after discovering that the tokens itself can be currency and some kind of the language of communication between all possible assets, including people, including businesses, including intellectual property and whatever you have on the offline world, which through oracles can go to the digital blockchain and can become a public data. Then inside of the metaverse space of the future, it should be interconnected and talk to each other easily and efficiently. That's, I think, the point behind the Matchify engine, which is the heart of the Kandao, right? You have multi-role mechanism, which is kind of selecting, characterizing, and making kind of listings, like, for example, a Craigslist, pretty popular, or Amazon is also one of them. And after multi-rolling everything, you can try to match them, right? And at the end of the story, which is the complex story of Kandao, where along the way you have plenty DeFi tools, plenty different algorithms, and ways to express yourself and catalog every asset possible. At the end of it, you should be guided, assisted through to make the best decision possible in your life and or in your business. This is basically the complex way of the Kandao, how it works, right? So yeah, I think that explains the story.
As a person whose job is to put everything in proper perspective, I'll put it in 3 stages. First of all, just imagine yourself that the platform provides an access to the international marketplace where experts and specialists and technicians play different roles, and can find opportunities to participate in projects that have been initiated by the community or by any other users that created brands. In the stage 2, a real world track record that cannot be changed or deleted is used to verify users against one another. This track record is based on the most important facts, such as connections of the people to the previous projects that they worked on and participated in, how much money they raised, for instance, in some crowdfunding. If they did, what happened with those businesses, did they get bankrupt or they are successful, as well as the tasks, actual jobs that they did. And then the system, when it finds enough data, and when a sufficient data is available, Kandao will implement an artificial intelligence algorithm, which is actually why we are joining together over here, that will select specialists to the projects, for the projects, in the most efficient manner available, taking into account all those skills and all the history of the people. I'm only talking about things that have something to do with business. I'm not talking about the character right now. I'm not talking about personality. I'm not talking about the knowledge of the languages and so on and so on. These are thousands of elements we look at when matchifying people to any projects in real life every day.
Yes,
I can
and I also
add a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. I wanted to add, because before we have advanced AI systems which match everything with everyone, with every product, with all this stuff, we actually want to introduce to the world a form of scanner, like you have right now Etherscan, right? You can check all transactions which are happening or which happened, right? But what Marek said previously, what if you could follow actually every single person, what they did, and you can do it in the same way, like on Etherscan, but instead of just transactions, you can follow everything what they did. But Matchify later on will be using all these data to match everything with everything. But also users before that can go to the scan and check those people and their history. And if you would like to, for example, work with someone, imagine right now you need to believe and trust that what he shared in the internet is actually the truth. But actually, unfortunately, it's not like that. Not always. Like, people try to help themselves online just a bit, at least, to present themselves better. But what if you have actually real truth, right? And I always said, if you had blockchain for hundreds or thousands of years, you could know exactly what happened in past. And right now, if you can really measure it and you can follow all the history, and also if you can follow all projects and people which are connected to those projects. Look, if you have 20 people which are connected to concrete project, and they will do well or not really, because there were also lots of scams, right? I will say it maybe more later, but the thing is, if you have all these people and they will raise money, right? And maybe they will run away with this money. What then, right? You couldn't even know who is there. And if you know exactly who is there, then, and you can recognize them, you can recognize and build in your point of view trust to them, then it's a different story. So actually, it's all about checking on the blockchain what happened between parties, between people, between projects. Because, for example, imagine you have I don't know, Vitalik Buterin, who will sign in as an advisor to a project, and because he did it with his private keys, he did that. You cannot fake that Vitalik just did that. And if he will not see, then okay, Vitalik did that, right? No, not really. Or what about all those partnerships, people which are going on conferences, events, and they are just doing pictures with someone who is very popular, but actually they don't have anything in common. And people speculate on that, right? Oh wow, he met that person. Maybe they do business. Let's buy this token coin, right? It's nothing. And if you really sign with private keys, they will sign with private keys. You have the truth, and that's very, very, very important value which we also deliver through our platform.
You mean I won't be able to make a fake news about Hertz buying 100,000 Teslas from Elon Musk anymore? I mean, it's boring.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no.
That's terrible,
No.
Elon Musk is not going to accept that. Okay.
Not at all. I could shoot in a little bit when because you said developing this AI and doing the matching algorithms and trying to figure out how things are. But just to kind of add a little bit of perspective to people that are struggling to understand how an AI would match up any more than a regular algorithm. And there's actually a little cool story around how AI did a project. So there's nothing to do with Kandao or we, but it's actually a really fun, kind of cool little explanatory thing. So they did a project for a space station, and they needed to figure out how an antenna can look like, because it needed to receive the amount of energy and the amount of radiation that it's supposed to measure. And then they would send this project to different universities, different engineering teams, and said that we need for you to build a type of antenna that would gather the most amount of radiation. And then everybody did, and I think people managed to get up to 60-70%. And then they gave this to MIT, which ran it through a neural machine learning algorithm. And then the machine came out with a architecture for the antenna that doesn't look like anything any human would ever build. It didn't look like, and most engineers said that will never work, because that absolutely doesn't look like anything a human would be able to build. They sent it out up to the space station, tested out, and it was about 99%. And that is the beauty of neural networks. This is the beauty of machine learning. It comes up with solutions that people can't really see. There's so many tiny interconnections, and then we have an intuitive feeling about how things should work, or we have based our knowledge or based off previous engagements, we have learned what we should do. And people have different educations and doctorates on this, but then what AI can do, it can look away from all of this and just give you the perfect solution for that perfect problem, looking at all of the seemingly unconnected interdependencies, and it gives you the solution that nobody would ever be able to guess, but it gives you the 100% efficiency. And that's the kind of little beauty behind AI.
It's also scary, right?
Oh yeah,
and
so
also
scary.
unbiased too, right?
Don't worry, gentlemen. I have the antenna, and they forgot to make screws, so I cannot attach it to the wall in the building. I have to put it on the grass, and it's just.
Yeah.
So it's still not perfect, you know. And of course, in regards to the connection, it's perfect. But in regards to screwing it to the building wall, it's not perfect. Okay.
No.
We people
I'll
have
make our AI safe. So when the AI rises up, I'll make ours safe. I'll make our the good one, the good version.
All right. I was going to ask about the Kandao's personal token, but you guys already covered it all. So I guess I'm moving to the Wanda Exchange. So can Diego, can
Did
you
you
explain?
say personal tokens?
Yeah,
Yes, personal
did
tokens.
you cover it already, right?
No, we didn't cover the personal tokens at all.
No,
I'm just
no.
going to say the first word, and then Pawel is probably going to finish because it's his hobby. When you log in to Kandao's space, you will basically receive 21 million of personal tokens that you could then create or exchange with people for brand tokens or asset tokens. And Pawel, it's your job.
This is the way how we liquefy values, and we let people to also be liquid and projects to be liquid. Because, okay, let's start from the beginning. When you log in with Connect Wallet, right? This is the way how we connect to Web3. And you don't need email, you don't need password. Let's forget about it. So, and then when you create your user, you are saving all these data which you create. And finally, first of all, you own them. So first token, which is extremely important, is NFT ID. And NFT ID lets you to assign all these data to you and give this power, give this everything what you create back to you. And this is main difference if you compare to actually how social media exist, how they perform right now. Data is the gold of current century, and the thing is that we unfortunately don't own it, right? They own it, corporations own it, but not we. Like, it's our shadow, and they tell us that, oh yeah, it's your shadow, but it's not yours. So it's really unbelievable what happened, but we are here in this reality. And if we have our NFT ID and this data is assigned to NFT, we can decide what we do with this data. If we can sell it or not, if we want to share it, and with whom and how and so on. But actually we have it, right? And the next step, personal tokens, because all of us receive tokens and can mint tokens of any kind. It could be DeFi tokens, it could be different NFT tokens, it could be loyalty tokens, and so on. We could create brand tokens, and brand tokens we are actually creating when we create Launchpad. So if, let's say, all of us decide to create a Launchpad and make a project, build a project together, then we create a brand token. And all of us are signing on the blockchain information that, hey, I'm baking this concrete project, this concrete Launchpad, this concrete brand token. And therefore, if I have right now my personal tokens, right? So why actually people need them? So you need personal tokens, like my personal tokens or your personal tokens, to participate in value which I'm going to create, value which I'm going to deliver. So when you are holders of my tokens, when I'm a holder of your tokens, whatever projects you will create, in your policy, you can decide like that you will share, for example, 10% or 20% of tokens which you are going to create, which you're going to own, right? And so if I right now going to create brand tokens, I will have, for example, 1 million tokens, or let's say 10 million tokens, and I decided to share 10%. That means I will share 1 million tokens to all my, like brand tokens, to all my holders of personal tokens. So if I'm going to create in my life lots of projects which will have their own brand tokens, and then they also have their asset tokens, people who hold me, like my tokens, will participate in those next projects, like kind of airdrop, right? And of course, my price could increase, like it could be speculation of what I'm building, but because they know that I will share with next tokens which I'm going to create and just connect value to those projects, therefore they know that they will make a profit from me, from what I deliver, right? It could be, for example, a contract that I have, for example, advertising potential, and I will deliver some kind of sales. I don't know what amount, doesn't matter. And people believe that they can participate. They want to participate in my profits from advertising, right? So if I decide to share it through a smart contract, for example, for a period of 5 years, they know that if they hold my tokens, they will make actually profits every single month or every single quarter of however it's distributed, right? And so the same story happens with brand tokens. So if your launchpad is going to create next assets and assign it to some kind of tokens, we call it asset tokens, then they also are airdropped to people who hold brand tokens. So in that very simple way, we could make a kind of funnel, kind of way how to monetize, how to bring value from real life, and actually through connecting tokens to this value, make them liquid, right? And this is whole concept about personal tokens and brand tokens and asset tokens, so that if you actually invest in projects, hey, behind every single project, behind every single business, you have people, right? And this is how we liquefy it.
Well, also we could also one of the things which is important is NFT token to verify your identity. Obviously, we would use one of the personal tokens that would be sent to the blockchain. Blockchain will do the mumbo jumbo. I guess the you programmers guys can explain it, and then the NFT token will appear, which will basically verify that you are you, and all the elements, all the actions that you're going to be doing on the blockchains within Kandao are going to be NFT verified. Your identity is going to be verified by that.
Oh, okay.
Because of this and because of Matchify and multi-roles, this is the way how we really aim to bring all people, all businesses, all projects from around the world and just push mass adoption of cryptocurrencies and blockchain, because actually every single business could join, every single person could join, and every single person could build and share values together and make everything liquid. And this is actually, I know, very ambitious, but if you think about it, it's also very real.
All right. So say if I want to own your token, I need to do something for you, right? So if people want to own a part of your token?
Not necessarily. You might own my token or Pawel's token because we like you. We can airdrop some of our tokens to some people. We can give it away. We could ask you to join the deal, or we could ask you to participate together in a certain pool Just like, for instance, I don't know if you ever mined or did something with Chia network, but Chia network to connect to the pool, to the pool to mine it is using an NFT token. So just go a little bit back. Imagine yourself that you have a personal token, and it's up to you where you use it. It's your data. I mean, you could exchange it into the blockchain. You can exchange it with Elon Musk for Tesla. You could open a new brand, or you could exchange it with an existing brand for some kind of a reason, for work or for anything else. Or you could give it to your ex-wife because she's giving you a big hassle that you're rich and she's not.
Yeah, basically, you ask very interesting questions. We will be showing the community some other ways to go as well. For example, imagine some public personal token who you didn't buy, and there is no airdrop. There is like nothing in the space, except you like the services of someone or some products, and you will be, for example, recommending services or products to some other person, right? Then you will be rewarded for the recommendations. So we will try to show the ways of doing business automatically, you know, without very deep engagement and participation with your normal everyday tasks, what you do anyway, and the multi-role mechanism, which is telling that you can be an expert, advisor, you know, maybe designer, coder at the same time, seller, buyer, customer, whoever. Doing some simple stuff, you can be basically distributing many types of tokens, not only personals, also activity or brand tokens among the other persons, you know, recommending.
Basically, what Robert is saying, yes, but what Robert is saying is basically that if I'm a specialist and I'm a good specialist in something, an expert, and I comment somebody's opinion in the internet, I should be gratified for it, and I might give you my own tokens. I might give somebody my own tokens because I appreciate this person commenting on my job or on my opinion.
Yeah, or if you will recommend Marek as an advisor, you will get paid with Marek's tokens from the third party who you recommended to, because the circles will be there. The circles of tokens automatically distributing tokens to each party of the circle. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5 person in the flow, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Then you have
tokens among them. Yeah.
Then just imagine yourself the whole world and thousands and thousands and thousands of tokens. Obviously, you have to exchange it somehow. So we're going to work with Wanda on a way of exchanging that. Why shouldn't we have a decentralized liquidity pool or decentralized exchanges that would be connecting to Wanda's terminal of payments? And why me giving somebody my own personal tokens, this person couldn't monetize it? Of course, you could.
That's true.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, shall we get you first?
I just wanted to finish with universal liquidity pools, who can be built on top of any businesses on many areas, on many subjects. So it's built automatically by the community or some artificial intelligence engine, just on, you know, on the request or demand of the general public, general market. I don't know how to explain it simpler. It's also can be connected to personal tokens or whatever other token. Yeah. So let's go ahead. If you have any questions, you can just ask us.
About personal tokens, when people are actually putting themselves in projects, and because they also build concrete story, track record, which is saved on the blockchain. And I also wanted to add that we call launchpad trustless launchpad. Why? Because this is continuation of previous thought, which I wanted to just right now finish. So imagine all those scams which you had in crypto space, how many people lost money. And what if you can use smart contract and also DAO, which is Kandao, so that is part of our name, and to actually manage risk. So imagine that projects, when they start and when they raise capital, they need to set concrete milestones and show those milestones. So, and then people will see, for example, they are rising, there's a project which is rising $2 million, right? And they say that for first milestone, whatever it is, they need 10%, $200,000, right? So, and then on the roadmap, they have like 6 months to deliver this first milestone. And because they are all the time communicating with people, with community, they could deliver or not, or run away or do whatever with this money. But after 6 months, they need to show what happened and if they really delivered something or not. And let's imagine that they did, everything goes smooth, so they get more money and it's okay because it's locked in smart contract then. But what if they will not deliver? They can communicate with their community, and if community actually feels that they are not scammers, they just maybe made some small mistakes, then people can vote and say, okay, good guys, delays happens. This is not that big delay. They already did some progress, which is very important for this project, but something changed. They explain it. It's really okay. And then people can just release next pool of money for next milestone. But in case of there is a project which is actually really a scam, and people will see it definitely after the first 6 months if they didn't deliver nothing, people could take this money out of investment. So imagine like if you could manage investment in that way, so 90% of money in that case would come back to investors while project is developing, because, for example, scam appeared, right? So in that concrete way, people could completely avoid situations like we had, for example, in last years. Like 90% or even more of projects in, for example, 2017, 18, this last bubble, unfortunately, were scams. Unfortunately, so much. And finally, we have to solve it. I don't know why it's like there is no solution yet for this problem. However, if we use smart contracts which are managed by community, by DAO, who could decide, then actually this is a solution for the massive, actually one of the biggest problems in crypto space right now.
Great. I guess you covered all about the trustless launchpad part, right? So where's Diego?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. I want to know more about the dynamic user interface for the Wanda ATM. Can you explain about that part?
Right. I guess that's a question for Dennis.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So what we're gonna do is for the user interface for the ATMs, we're going to be creating a artificial intelligent user interface, or a dynamic user interface, where most of the way you get the people from A to B on a user interface is it's kind of a learning iterative project. I mean, you can have your you can give a guess about how you want the customer to go from A to B and the structure is, but what the AI can do for us for the intelligent user interface is that it gathers some of the information throughout the user experience, and then we're trying to figure out when did people succeed in doing what they needed to do. How did they get from A to B on the menu? How can we get people to get there a lot easier? And so what the user interface will do, it'll gather some of the information and some of the kind of pitfalls that the user have in the user interface, and it will try to try to avoid them. We will try to get the people to do it on a secure and a much easier and a faster way. So it'll be a sort of a living, dynamic interface that only gives you the solutions that you need for your exact position where you want to get there. So it's not going to be cluttery. So it's supposed to be very simple, because when you think about it, in the end, we are doing very simple things on the ATMs. We're either buying or selling some coins. So we're either transferring the money or we're just taking them out. It seems like a simple procedure, but when it comes to cryptocurrency, it is a huge world out there, and it's kind of hard to try to navigate it through. And some of it might be scary, some of it might be frightening, because it is an actual economy. It is something that you can lose on. So if you make a mistake, or you can have a fear of making the mistake, you won't maybe go through with it. But it's actually as simple as regular ATMs. And then if you people remember, when the original ATMs came to be, there were people that were clerks that were hired to stand outside the ATMs to actually be able to use these technologies, because it's new, it's frightening, it's not a clerk. And then what we're trying to achieve is we're trying to achieve that same kind of a trust in the new technology, but we're trying to do it through the artificial intelligence. Is that the AI will guide your hands on this journey through the AI, and it will try to better itself as it gets more information from users. We will try to figure out where did the user have the mistakes of doing something, or where did it fall off because it was something too scary or too frightening. And so the AI will try to figure out how can we make the person trust and be secure and do the necessary without making any mistakes, and learn from it and make it. It's going to be a living, dynamic user interface.
So wow, that sounds so exciting. In Thailand, at the movie theater, there will be people who guide you through the all stuff in front of the movie machine. It's kind of like that, right?
Exactly. It's a sort of kind of like a. We'll still figuring out how will exactly on a graphical interface will be guiding the users. But what we know is that the information of how we should get there is there. We need to gather information of how the users should use the interface, and then we will tell them in a very simple and dynamic way that these are the 4 buttons you need to click in order to do whatever you need to do, because it's actually that simple. It just sounds scary. And then it's kind of like a person who would stand there, help you out, but it's the user interface itself that will guide you through using it.
And I'm curious, when will the first, like, this exciting AI ATM will be installed? Like, when is the first one will be released?
Well, we hope for the new version of the ATMs to be released within Q2 next year. So I hope this is going to be around summer, within early summertime, to release the first batch. We expect to be able to have them not only
summertime in Switzerland or summertime in Thailand.
Sorry?
Summertime in Switzerland or summertime in Thailand?
So summertime Q2, early Q3. So
okay.
mid of the year, let's say mid of the year. Exactly, but we expect to have the ATMs not only in Thailand. So I guess we're gonna launch in a few countries together when everything is ready and we are ready for the launch.
It will be the fully, right? Not the prototype one.
Sorry?
Like, it will be fully function ATM, right? Not the prototype batch, right?
Exactly. Will be fully working, of course, as promoted. We're working hard on it.
Okay.
That is
looking forward to it. And for the Kandao, can the Kandao team share the current development status about the project? When will the project be live, and when will user will be able to use this personal token, the Trustless launchpad?
Okay, so this is quite exciting part, because we were developing it for some time, and right now when we are doing our public sale, which is in Q4, so in this year, people will be already able to go through our launchpad, which is going to be in beta tests, actually in few days from now. I cannot tell you concrete hour, but it's going to happen in next few days. And this is going to be just first launchpad for ourselves. However, based on this, first of all, users will be able to pick up soon after their profile pages, so that everyone will have their own newsfeed, everyone will be able to write their posts, and all, of course, happen after signing in through their Web3 wallet. Soon after, we are going to use our first launchpad to actually deliver launchpads for every partner, every project which actually would like to join, because we aim to tokenize every single business and project and organizations you already know, or at least connect with their tokens to deliver tools which they can use to get more clients, capital, and use our multi-roles on Matchify to connect with their audience and share resources, connections, and so on. And like MVP of our platform is planned for Q1, and then all development will go through next quarters. However, because this kind of platform, this kind of ecosystem which we are building is quite not simple thing, I would say, and we plan to develop it through at least several years. And yes, of course. And but right now we already come up with something what we already built, which you can already use. There will be several IDOs on different launchpads. However, the main one will happen on our launchpad. So there's also quite interesting when different projects fundraise capital to finish with their launchpad. And we are actually starting with our launchpad to deliver after this big ecosystem where everyone can and everything can participate in it. So this is our roadmap.
Okay, right. That's all the question I've prepared. I hope everyone that are listening get a clear picture about our partnership with Kandao. After this, I think I'll let anyone who's curious about the project ask some more question. Maybe the topic that we didn't cover. Yeah. So I don't know how to raise the people up in Telegram. Can they raise their hands up in here?
Right. I guess we can unmute the chat now, and then the people should be able to write their questions as it starts already. Yeah. If you go to the chat, wow, there's a few questions already in. Let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes for the questions all to come, and in 1 or 2 minutes we're gonna mute the chat again, and then you can choose like like each a few questions and answering them. Might be easier, because if we start to answer them and more are coming, I guess it's gonna be pretty difficult.
Yeah. So.
Right. A few questions coming. Right.
Oh.
A few.
I got too much questions. It's like flooding.
Okay.
Okay. I think we need to pause the chat for a bit. Maybe we can cover it all. I got like
yeah, let's wait 20-30 seconds and oh wow.
Yeah.
Then we close. Oh wow, yes, okay. Nice.
Guys, some from Amabo. Please be careful.
Okay.
Okay, let's mute the chat again, and
Okay, I'll select the one that I think it's interesting, and we'll everyone. Okay.
Exactly. You just gonna select five questions, and then we're gonna answer those 5 questions that you choose out of the few ones that came.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I like this guy. He said
to answer most of those questions in chat later on. Otherwise, let's decide, Pavel, I'll take share and work on it until Monday, and you just work from Monday to Friday next week. 24 hours a day to answer those questions. If you guys unmute it again, we have a week of answering the questions. But go ahead, ask the questions.
Okay, I like this question.
The best one that you feel like it.
Okay. So he said, too many projects promise magic but never release any working product or prove any revenue within a short or long term of release. Is your project also like this? If not, can you tell us what makes your project different from other projects?
Okay.
So I think he's asking what is Kandao's strength and what makes you stand out from the other?
Yes. So actually, first of all, when you go to our launchpad beta tests, first of all, you can already see that we already deliver, and you can already use it, and you can already participate in it. You can already get your NFT tokens, which you will this will be delivered very, very, very soon. And what I also wanted to say that we are building ecosystem, which actually is to change the whole pattern which right now exists in the blockchain industry. And because we are also very transparent, and actually everyone can ask us anything, and we want to show everything, and we are building this kind of system which is to prevent scams, which is to manage all businesses that they can grow and do it, completely organic way. And because it happens just right now, not let's say in 2 years or 3 years, this is a very common thing that when people are coming to projects and they are asking, so when you start, and first answer is in 2024 or 23, right? And actually you will be able to see that we are growing every single quarter, every single month, because this is a kind of project which you, as I mentioned previously, developed for several years. So every single month you will be able to see how we change, how we add things, and how we help people to unlock their value and to liquefy assets which they bring and build.
Okay, I think I'm going to answer some of the questions, just reading them really quickly, because I think you guys all deserve at least a quick answer. Many projects have problems with UI and UX. Do you plan to improve the interaction with the new users and with the users outside of crypto space? We are working and building several things at the same time. The website right now that you see on Kandao.io is being really changed and added every day and there is a lot of things already done behind what you see in there. There are videos, there is a podcast, and by the way, if I can probably throw in a few seconds, if I'm allowed to, or maybe the Dennis can do that. I just prepared a short podcast, a 20 minutes podcast, basically explaining a lot of those questions and basically an explainer. So if it will be done in a form of a video within the next 2 or 3 days. But as of right now, you just have something to go ahead and listen to before you go to bed and sleep. To answer you the questions, yes, we're going to be changing and working on a daily basis on changing and improving the interactions with our customers. As a matter of fact, we just introduced right now a production line, I'm going to call it, of videos and audios probably within the next few weeks. And if there is anyone of you that would like to help us translate an English version of that podcast right now into the Thai with commas and the grammatics, we'll really appreciate that, because Thai is one of our first languages that we want to go to. The next thing is almost 80% of investors have this focused on price of token and short term instead of understanding the real value of the projects. Can you tell us your motivations and benefits for investors to hold your token in the long term? Well, let me just tell you what we have already from the investors and companies that found out some information, what we're doing. Well, first of all, Wanda also wants to hold our token, so let them explain why they want to hold it. But we are also working on, for instance, a fund for a production of Hollywood movies. I'm not going to mention the names, but in the next few days, you will probably find a partnership with a Hollywood production company that would like to generate and get the fund for production of the movies in Hollywood. Just raise the money for it. We have already several proposals, actually pretty much up to almost 100 proposals from offers from various companies looking to introduce and looking and searching for our help to introduce, to help them tokenize their brands. Actually, what I'm also working on, and one of the things that we didn't mention is here, I'm working on a type of a sponsorship. Sponsorship is a bad name for it, but the idea is behind it that if, let's say, Wanda would have a consulting group in Thailand that would like to join in, a couple of lawyers, a couple of specialists, and could create a consulting team that would basically help people with the tokenization part of creating a brand, that would be, we would consider that entity a sponsor that would be verifying the quality of the product, quality of the project, and making sure some people are not trying to tokenize a goose, because it's possible to do it anyway. So this is going to be something that we are working on too, and motivation to hold the investors of tokens. Well, let's assume our token, everything is going to be, our token is actually going to be exchanged for various things, for personal tokens, for brand tokens. It's going to be exchangeable in many ways. So the larger a community we will have, the larger we hope the value of the utility token to increase. Notice also that we have a huge project, and we're not looking to raise $50 million or $100 million. We're just raising right now around $8 million. Actually, the first round of seed capital of $1 million have already been raised. As of the next 3 days, I believe on Monday, we will have a link available to Wanda on your webpage, and we invite you to a private sale, which is going to last pretty shortly, because in the next 2 weeks, we are going public with the public sale, but it will allow the investors to purchase our tokens, I think 3 times less than the market price will, we hope will show in a public sale, which is going to happen at the beginning of December. The next question is, too many projects promise magic but never release.
Marek, if you could wait for a second. I also wanted to add one more, just short answer about CDO token. So you can also go to Kandao.io and then check like utilities which we have around. But just imagine one thing, that every single project, every single business, every single person, every single asset which could mint a token and then assign those tokens to this value which they bring, first of all, will be paired with CDO, and then you can change these concrete tokens to CDO. So actually, imagine that you have, I don't even say millions of people, but just even 100,000 people and projects, as soon as possible, I would say, and they will be able to create infinite amount of tokens of any kind. this could be so huge amount of tokens that is completely not existing right now in the market. When we were first considering, okay, so let's maybe create tokens for those people and those projects because we had idea to do so, and then we realized, okay, but we have small issue. If we mint tokens for them, then we will create more tokens than Ethereum have right now. What will happen with Ethereum? And then we realized, okay, we need to solve it in a different way. So then we went to Polygon and we made a deal with Polygon directly. So right now we have partnership with them. And that's why like everything, all this stuff will also happen on Polygon so that we could create even millions of tokens, because actually this is what is going to happen. If you have millions of users or even more, because this could aim to even billion, I wish that we could reach somewhere these kind of numbers. But then you could even think about like unbelievable amount of tokens, and all of them will be paired to CDO. So about market cap, you can just guess, right? But this is numbers which are probably no one could think about even.
Yes, and I would also like to add that we don't really care about that 80% of the investors. Like, we appreciate so we can start and develop and launch our products. But to be honest, Kandao is like multi-projects company, which means a lot of companies and projects and people and investors will come in the future. It's just maybe a few thousand people will help us to get started. And that's it. After that will come 100 times more. So this is the point behind the Kandao, that the business is sustainable. It not only is like some pyramid or whatever DeFi, it happens in the nature, right? That the DeFi projects are just for a minute, very cool, and after that is nothing going on there. You probably experience that like everyday basis. But we are touching through oracles also the offline world, which is not so common for the DeFi projects. We will have launchpads for every possible assets and projects, offline and online, which is going to be totally sustainable long term. Yep.
I'm going to answer a couple of other questions. Sang, you ask, do you care about community feedback and requests? Yes, we do, very much. As a matter of fact, without you, there wouldn't be Kandao. Is there a region or an area that you primarily target in your project? Well, and we do not discriminate based on the primary region, because we believe that in every country, even the poorest ones, they are still geniuses and they still have a great idea. If you remember, Robert was living in the woods when he came up with the idea of Kandao. Fang, you've asked what is the structure of the project? Is it decentralized or an open source protocols where everybody can contribute? If so, does the government's plan is being handled? For the next 2 years, I believe we will be asking community for feedback in a form of voting that we will actually run the programs and the development of the company, because that has to be done. I believe in the next 2 years or so. More of that you will find in the white paper and the explainers we did. We actually are thinking about turning the governance of that to DAO community in full, unless Pawel Barylski has to add something to it.
Yeah, so in general, we aim to be completely fully DAO based, so that everyone has not only possible to vote, but actually that holders will receive share in profits. So right now we aim to share like 35% in our repurchase program from everything what is actually happening from all profits. And then if we completely, change to DAO, it will be 100%. So actually nothing more, like everyone who has tokens will be partially owner of, what is going to happen in this ecosystem. So more you hold, more you actually make.
Town Vivu, you've asked if COVID-19 has slowed down many economies. Does it affect us negatively or positively? I would unfortunately say that the whole world is negatively affected by it, but we do not cry because 90% of everything we do is already decentralized, and we're doing a job basically online, most of us from all over the world.
I would actually say that we are very happy.
Right now. Actually, we are on track.
We are very happy because of what is happening with. I mean, of course, COVID is bad experience, and no one is happy about it. But we are happy about that because of this. Everyone are going remotely, and this would connect all of us. We are right now sitting next to computers. Right now, you're watching us, and we could cooperate. Everyone are just used to working together online, right? And if we use this one simple factor that everyone are sitting next to computers and working remotely, then finally, because of this, we could switch to really, using smart contracts and blockchain to work in Web 3.0, which in the past maybe couldn't happen that easy, because people would normally go to work, and actually when you go to Web 3.0, it's all about cooperating with anyone in the world, not just neighbors and friends.
Okay, Pavel, you have to remember that it's almost 12 o'clock out there, so let's speed up a little bit the answers.
Okay,
by
sorry.
the asking about the smart contracts and the audit
Right,
that we did.
I guess we added your audio to the group, so maybe the people can listen. I guess it's around 100 questions, so I don't think we're going to do all of them before 12. So maybe
I'm just going to answer only one. Yes, we're waiting for an audit of our smart contracts. Actually, it's already paid for it. And actually, we had a big discussion on it today on the marketing that it should already be available, because we would like to have it available for you to review it before we go public, before we go to the public sale.
And yes, it's certain.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are unable to cover all of this question. It's impossible. So I think our time is up now. But I want to know the last question about the marketing, about the Wanda team. What's your plan towards the marketing to the upcoming events and the ATM? So that's the one last question I want to know. And about the Kandao team, if you want to cover all questions, you can send it to me via text, and I can do it like a recap for you guys on that topic. Yeah.
Right. I guess anyway, it makes sense because we have the question in our group. All questions are in our group. So after it, absolutely, we're gonna answer the questions. You can answer a few questions by just replying it, so the people gonna see that they got an answer to their question if you just click on reply, and then we can reply the questions to the peoples, and then the people gonna get their answers. But it was many questions.
Yeah.
Marketing. I have to say we are gonna get a huge marketing campaign coming up. We launched now nearly a month ago, not even, a bit less. So far, we have been developing partnerships, a lot of partnerships. I have to apologize a bit to the community, because maybe for you as the community, it looked that there was not so much happening. But you can be sure it happened a lot in the background. There will be a new listing coming next week with a big exchange, with credit card terminals, with SEPA payments, also for the people in Europe. So I guess this is something pretty big. There's also a huge marketing campaign coming within the next 2-3 weeks, or even earlier. So from our side, so far, maybe it looked that not a lot happened, but be sure in the background a lot was happening, and you're gonna see it all within the next, let's say, 5 to 6 weeks. I guess also in the price, there will be huge movement to the right side.
Okay. Very cool. update for the token holder. I'm sorry, whose microphone is that? Okay, so that's the update for token holder. It's sure be an exciting news. So I guess that's all for today. Our time is up. So big thanks to everyone who are being with us for tonight in Thailand. Okay, I hope you guys get more vivid picture about our project. Yeah, and I think let's call it a day for today. Okay, right.
Thank you to everyone for this conversation.
Thank you.
And we will, of course, answer all your questions which you asked.
Yep. Okay. See
Thank
you,
everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys,
for joining us
Thank
today.
everybody.
And
Thank
ask
you.
your questions
Bye-bye.
in the chat. We are there. Kandao chat. Kandao has their group. Join the Kandao group. Anyone ask their questions there. Ask your questions in our chat. Whatever you want to ask, we are there for your questions.
Yeah, very informative tonight. Like so exciting about both of your projects.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then thank you so much, everyone, and have a great evening or afternoon or early evening, whatever.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Bye-bye.